made her laugh for the first time in a while. Below her fierceness was a love worthwhile.
Good evening, and welcome to this segment of Bring It On. I'm going to be your host tonight, Ray Tabano, and tonight we have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. We have a wonderful young artist, Jordan Okren. We're going to talk all about his music tonight, where he came from, what inspires him, and what's going on in his life. And you know, it's funny because as we were talking earlier, it turns out that the whole thing has come full circle, because originally he's telling me that he was from Westchester County here, brought up in Scarsdale. When he was an infant, he moved down to North Carolina, and now he's back here again, man. He has a couple of albums here. This one I really like. I love the picture on this one. You know, I love that the guitar sticking up in the air like that. That kind of stuff, you know, really, I just dig that kind of stuff. But we're going to be featuring his new album this month. It's called, I can't read without my glasses here.
World Keeps Turning.
Oh yeah, the world keeps turning. You know, this is what happens. Yeah, I get old here, and I refuse to wear reading glasses because I don't think I look cool enough, you know, and then I can't read stuff. You know, I have my notes over here, and I can't even read them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But why don't we just talk to Jordan a little bit and tell us a little bit about yourself, like, you know, where you came from, you know, what inspired you to do this whole thing, and you know, what you're up to. So, how are you doing tonight?
Cool. Yeah, it's great to be here, Ray, and great to be here in Westchester on the local TV. I actually, like you said, I was born in New York, not raised, but born and grew up in Scarsdale for a few years. And then I went down to North Carolina as an infant. My parents moved down there, and yeah.
You were kind of like forced to go down there.
Yeah,
your parents moved down and you were an infant, so you really couldn't stay up here. You kind of had to like go with them, right?
Exactly, and somehow I'm back now. But no, I started playing guitar at 7. I don't know if it was my parents that encouraged me, but I kind of wanted to get involved musically or do something, you know, as a kid, to get involved in something. So I started taking lessons at age 7, and that really was the beginning of it all. I took lessons at a local guitar shop in Raleigh, North Carolina, called Harry's Guitar Shop, for I think 7 years with a guitar teacher, and got really into classic rock and blues and all sorts of music, and it really started my path. And growing up, my dad would play all sorts of music.
You mentioned that your father was a keyboard guy, and you used to play together.
Yeah, my dad was definitely a big influence. He plays keyboard, and he always played music around the house. He was a huge Springsteen head, you know, back in the day, and still is. So we played a lot of that, and, you know, The Who, Stones, Beatles, Bob Marley, you know, you name it, all that era of music, and that's still what touches me.
A little bit of Southern rock in there too.
Yeah, a little Southern rock, you know, from the South. They love that stuff down there.
He's from the Carolinas.
Got to play some Allman Brothers, right?
You know, it's like the law. You know, if you're from the Carolinas, you got to play the Allman Brothers. You know, it's like the law. But that's interesting because, you know, I was listening to your music earlier, and I heard a lot of the influences in there. And I mentioned to you that I also heard a little bit of the band, you know, that upgraded, you know, country, you know, folk.
Yeah,
rock
I think
and
growing
roll
up in the South,
music.
I got a lot of, you know, kind of gritty Southern kind of influence, like, you know, Southern R&B and Southern rock, kind of Americana. And that definitely has been a big influence on me, and I really like that grit that the South has, you know. That you guys don't have up here as much. But.
Yeah, we're gonna play a bunch of your videos that, you know, that we did, that we shot when you were in Irvington at the town hall. I was there with another group, and I got to listen to your band that night, and I loved the band. The band was like incredible. Yeah. The bass player was outstanding. He was just very, you know, exceptional. The saxophone guy was great. The whole thing was, like, you know, put together very, very well, man. So we're gonna start off with our first song, okay? Cool. And it's called Never Alone.
Never Alone with You.
Never Alone with You, okay? And this is done in Irvington. And why don't we run that clip and listen to a little of Jordan Okren's music here.
Sounds good.
Never thought I'd find a gal could figure me out. Someone to feel the same as me. Thought I was all alone, existing in the world. Who knew my reflection was real? She's like pieces of my soul. Oh, I'm never alone with you. Oh, I'm never alone with you. When I see your face, a chimney comes to me, reminds me of old memories. Thought I'd never be found by you. All seems too good to be true. She's my medicine, keeps me home. Oh, I'm never alone with you. Oh, I'm never alone with you, yeah. Well, I'm never alone with you. Oh, no, no, I'm never alone with you. I can't get away from this truth.
All right, we're back. That was wonderful. Yeah, I really, really like the way the sax and the guitar play off each other.
Thanks.
It
yeah.
just creates like this like really sexy mood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that was the aim. I
And,
guess,
and it allows your voice, like to warble a little bit, man. It just sets the whole mood. And even though the drums and the bass are going out in the background a little bit, you're really not even focused on that because you're kind of like watching.
It's
what's
a very
going on in the
intimate
front.
moment.
Yeah,
exactly.
it really
a
is a
sexy
wonderful
moment, like you
yeah,
said.
yeah.
Right?
So let's talk a little bit about this particular song. You know, I'm Never Alone with You.
Okay, so I'll tell you the story about this one. I was in Boston. I went to Berklee College of Music for a couple semesters up there, and I met a Brazilian girl who I was madly in love with. I would say, like I was head over heels for this girl, and this song was for her, as well. Another song on this album as well, but it was just kind of a song about like you found that person that like fills everything within you, and never alone with you. Like I never feel alone because you're there, and it's kind of like a head over heels kind of song, honestly. So
I'm afraid to ask.
yeah.
Is she still around?
No, she's not
boy.
around anymore. But I got some good songs.
You
out
got
of
some
it.
good material out of it. You can't beat that, man.
It was a very intense relationship for me.
That's good, though,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I'm
very
saying.
intense.
So you're up in Berkeley for a couple of years, up in Boston.
Yeah.
And just studying music again.
I was studying music and met a lot of great international musicians
Yeah.
and great musicians, and it was a fun time. Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a lot of years in Boston myself. You know,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, a real quick story. When we first got the Aerosmith started back in the day, Joey Kramer, who was a friend of of a guy I used to play with, came walking into my store one day. And I said, Joey, what are you doing here? He goes, oh, I'm going to Berklee School of Music. He was playing. He was working out with some guys that turned out to be Travares. That song,
wow.
Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel.
Yeah.
He was playing with some local guys before they hit it big, and that's where he came from. So you're absolutely right. There's a lot of music going on up there, and there's places all over the place. I mean, there's like 90 colleges up in Boston, Massachusetts, and there's
One big
clubs
college
everywhere,
city.
and you got Cambridge and all the outlying suburbs, and there's always bands happening all over the place. So it's a really good place to meet people.
Yeah, it was a fun time in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
That's great, man. And when you left, you left there, and then you came back home to Westchester.
Yeah, well, what happened actually? It's a long story. I actually went to Brazil for a little bit, where she was from, the girl, and then I came back from that, and then I was in Boston for a bit, playing music, and then I came to New York. So, yeah.
So now you're living up here in Westchester, or you're living in New York?
I do. No, I'm in Westchester now.
Back to Westchester.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Westchester myself. I moved up here when I was very, very young, and I moved up to Boston for those 14 years when I was up with Aerosmith up there. But I kind of like it down here.
Yeah.
Well,
you're born and raised here, right?
So,
yeah,
I mean,
as
much as I love the guys up there, and I'm still involved with some bands up there, and have friends up there, and I'm still involved in that community. This is my home. This is where I live, and I love it. There's a great music scene down here. There's always something going on down here. And we got to thank our producer here, from Rocket Productions here, Mr. Steve Deanna, who was responsible for all this great stuff. Focusing on local musicians and giving them the opportunity, man, to come onto these programs and play in local places and develop the kind of style that's going on, which is a great thing too. So we're gonna listen to some more stuff over here. I think we have some more songs coming up on here. But the next one I think we're going to hear is "Too Much to Love."
Cool, yeah, that's a rockin' one.
It's a little more pick up the pace.
That's
on
a very
upbeat
upbeat song. This was actually written before that girl. It's kind of a song about kind of like a difficult relationship, I think. Kind of like a high maintenance girl. Like and he's questioning, why am I in this? You know, because love shouldn't be, or a relationship shouldn't be so difficult and challenging. You know, it should be smooth. And this is the kind of goes out to those.
I got to tell you something. I love that term, high maintenance. I don't like getting involved in it, but it is so perfectly descriptive of what's going on with that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe our current culture kind of inspired me to write this song, and you know, it's a fun song. So.
Okay. Yeah. Are we almost ready to run this clip over here? Okay. Why don't we do this? Why don't we run this song and listen to some more of Jordan Oakland's music?
Should have been so hard, but it should only find out a game of cards. She's just too much to love. That's how she makes her feel. She's just too much to love. It don't get more real. She's just too much to love. That's how she makes her feel. She's just too much to love. It don't get more real. She's just too much to love. She's just too much to love. I thought she was the one. Oh, and then I learned who she.
That was terrific. You know, that song was really going on, and you know, I mean, I'm hearing all this R&B influence, you know, and I'm hearing Stevie Wonder and Sam and Dave and all this really cool stuff. You know, meanwhile, these two girls walk on the stage and they start shaking that thing right in the background over there, right? You can't beat that kind of stuff, man. You know, so this song you said was like more or less, you know, a song about you know, something that didn't work.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't necessarily personal to me, but just things I noticed, like some people and some couples, and like just like high maintenance kind of relationships. And I think the power of the song kind of portrays that. Yeah. And I love, you know, like an R&B bluesy groove, like just talking about like.
You know, the groove was definitely there. The R&B was definitely there, and I'm hearing all this soulful stuff in the background, man. Like I said, you know, your rhythm section, your bass player and drummer are so locked into each other. That the music is just, it just takes you with it. You know, there's no question about what's going on with it when you start listening to stuff like that, man. But you know, it's funny because you know, you talked about, you know, how the songs don't just touch one person, they touch a lot of people, man. You know, and that's like part of the magic of the music, man, that you write a song and you know, so many different people can identify with that, you know, with the feeling. You know, there might not be exactly the same situation, but the feeling that's generated from those kind of things, man. And, you know, that's why it's important. You know, I myself, you know, I consider myself, you know, a singer-songwriter, as you do, you, man. And you know, that's one of the blessings that we get to do. We get to write about stuff that we see, you know, and hope that we, you know, that we can compile it, you know, together, you know, good enough that people will get the message. You know?
Yeah, you know, we're all human. We have similar experiences, more or less, and you know, I think just channeling your inner creativity will definitely relate to other people in some way, and I think that's the goal of music, to kind of channel what people are going through and relate to people and, you know, bring joy to their lives. So because I mean, I like writing more. Like I look at the weird, funny side of life. You know, like you know, the unexpected things that happen to you, and I find humor in all that kind of stuff. And that's what I write about. You know, like you know, a couple of your songs, man. Like, you know, we're gonna get to one. I'll talk about it later. With the way you wrote it, you view it this way. I view it the exact opposite way. Yeah, exactly. You know, different interpretations.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is this, you see, people can relate to both things because they, you know, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to, you know, musically put forth, man, our experiences that we feel into music, so other people can feel that also, you know. And, it's a really good thing. Okay, the next song we have here. This song is the title song, I believe, from the CD. Okay, The World Keeps Turning.
Yeah. So this song, this is more introspective song. It's kind of about seeing your problems as not as big as they seem, and kind of like all these things go on, but you know, the world keeps turning anyway. Kind of like putting yourself in a subjective spotlight.
So so what you're saying is, not only are you a hopeless romantic, But you're a realist also.
In a way.
Okay.
I would. Maybe I'm a realist. I don't consider myself a realist. Actually, I consider myself more as like kind of what's the word? A non-realist in a way, but no, I try to relate like themes.
But when you're talking about the thing, you see things at the way they are. Man,
yeah.
That's things are what they are. That just it's real. So you're accepting what it is.
Yeah,
that's why I say that.
I try to relate like topical themes and.
I mean, I'm trying to be funny, but I'm also complimenting because I like your whole easygoing style. Although there's intelligence back behind it, man. And talent. There's obviously talent here, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
You're a great musician and a wonderful songwriter, man. And I was there that night when you performed. And I really loved it, man. It was wonderful, man.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? So what we're gonna do now is did we flash Jordan's Oakland's CD a little bit? Did we took a little picture of it? Did we can show it a little bit on the screen? Like I said, because there it is right there, beautiful, man. This particular album has eight tracks on it.
Five
tracks. This
with
is
a
EP.
sixth
it's an EP.
bonus track.
Yeah, this has 5 tracks on it. So we're going to play, one more track, and after we play the other track, we'll talk a little bit about what's going up. But then we're gonna go to a different video. We're gonna go to an actual video that you made. This as opposed to what we're looking at now, which is a whole show that we filmed at once, which is a live show. We're gonna go to a put together video after that. But again, with this particular album now, or EP that we just saw, you did 5 songs, and where was it recorded?
I actually recorded this in North Carolina, a home studio, and then I have an engineer and producer I work with.
But isn't this a recent thing?
Yeah, this was put out in the winter.
So you went back down to North Carolina?
Yeah, I was down there for part of the summer, and I recorded there, and then I had my engineer in Raleigh, North Carolina. He did all the mixing and producing and stuff. I've worked with this guy, Bongo John, for all the music I've released, and we kind of gel together.
That's great, man. Yeah, you find somebody that you work with.
Exactly, yeah.
I have
I
have a guy like that too. My guy Artie Dillon, he's a guy. I just go to him all the time because I know, he knows what I'm thinking.
Exactly.
And he knows what I'm looking for, and he'll even sometimes interpret what I want to do before I do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Push me in the right direction. Okay, so we're gonna get to this video clip, and this is the title song off the CD. The World Keeps Turning.
People cry, people laugh, widows weep, children clap, and the world keeps turning. The world keeps turning. Jobs are lost, planes crash, fans cheer, but gamblers grasp, and the world keeps turning. The world keeps turning. All things come and pass. Life goes on no matter the past. So let go and just live along the way, 'cause the world will keep on turning anyway. Yeah, the world will keep on turning anyway. Lovers go, lovers come, dinner's good, dessert sucks, and the world keeps turning. The world keeps turning. Sky's blue, then it's gray, river flowing, tide will change, and the world keeps turning. The world keeps turning. All things come and pass. Life goes on no matter the past. So let go and just live along the way, 'cause the world will keep on turning anyway. Yeah, the world will keep on turning anyway. Oh, the world will keep on turning anyway.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about that song right there.
Yeah, like again, it's kind of like the little anthem of that EP. That's why I kind of named it. I like the theme about kind of moving through and not seeing your issues as like such a huge deal, and kind of relating that to the whole universe, I guess, in a sense. And also just like noticing the contrast in life and kind of like how everything it ends at some point. Kind of a deep meaning song to me.
Yeah, well, listen, it's important, as human beings, and fellow travelers, man, on this path that we have. We're not here that long, we think we're here a long time, but we're not here that long, and it's important to look at things as, things that can be solved rather than as problems.
Exactly.
I mean, life happens and there's no getting around it. You know what I'm saying? But to sit there, and go, oh, woe was me all the time, it really don't work. I mean, I make a joke about it a lot because I wrote a song once called "You Think Your Life Ain't Easy, Try Being Me." But I make a joke about it, but I'm still looking at it. This is what happens. And it's important, to understand that, man. That life is going to happen. It's going to keep coming at you, man. And if you can just roll with it.
Exactly.
And keep a smile on your face and be happy, man. And always, what I learned a long time ago is that don't take anything for granted. You're kind of like, it's important for us to be grateful for what we have, and don't worry so much about what we don't have, man. Because if you were supposed to have it, you probably would. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not,
you're putting my song into better words than I am.
And if you're not supposed to have it, you don't have it, and that's okay too, man. Because there's a lesson in everything, and that's what it's all about.
Exactly. Yeah.
I want to talk about this next song, because this next song, and I'm jealous because I wrote a lot of songs. I put a couple of CDs out and an EP out, and I put a bunch of singles out, but I never made an actual video.
Oh man, really?
I always wanted to star in my own video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is great that you got to do this. And you were telling me that you did this in Manhattan.
Yeah, I did my music video all in New York City, and mostly in the subway actually. We kind of had this idea of the song's called "Go My Way," so we kind of had this idea of like moving up escalators and kind of like seeing the chaos of the people running through the trains and like all the chaos of New York, and it was a fun experience.
It's funny because there were a lot of great musicians down in those tunnels.
Yeah, no, there are.
And at those stations. Now, you just did this independently. You didn't go get permits and this whole thing.
No, we just I actually used a film professor at SUNY Purchase where I go now, and no, we just ran around with the camera all day. It was
That's
fun.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, cool. It's very cool, man. You kind of like guerrilla'd it, man. I like that. Man.
Yeah, it was very guerrilla. It was very like grassroots kind of thing.
So what'd you do? So you put the video together, and then you overdubbed all the music on it, and then you edited it down to the music. I mean,
well, he did that. I didn't do it.
He did.
Yeah, the producer of the video, Alan Smith, who's really good cinematographer. He did all that work. But as far as like the shooting and stuff, it was very spontaneous. Actually, we had a few set kind of places to go, but. Like we were in Times Square, we did a lot of the subway shots there, and we saw these murals, and they were just really good shots, and they kind of had representational themes, like with all these smiling faces and like different emotional themes in the murals. So we used that in the video. Yeah,
that's a great location because right where Times Square is, you have on 8th Avenue, you got the A train, the C train, the B train, the D train, and then you got to go up on 6th Avenue, you have all the 4, 5, and 6 trains, and they're going across, you have the L trains, and there's a warren of passages and tunnels in between the Port Authority and 42nd Street, so there's a million places and steps and up and down. I know what you're talking about, because I was there a couple of weeks ago. I went down to go see a show down there, and I got lost.
You got lost on the subway station.
I got lost a little bit.
Yeah, so, I felt like that a little bit. Yeah. But we like scouted out like the biggest escalators to go up, and then he stood up, and I'm like playing on the escalator, and people are just like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Well, that's good. You get a little audience over there.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's a few shots of like people like, whoa, what is this?
So how long did it take to do this whole process?
We did it all in one day.
In one day.
Maybe like 6 hours, 8 hours, or something like that. We met up at Grand Central and just went from there and just went to different stops. Ended up in Times Square.
Ended up in Times Square.
Yeah.
That's very cool, man. And then, so then the song again now, again, "Go My Way," the whole concept of it is to...
Yeah, this is a very, it's kind of like a personal empowerment song. I wrote it a few years ago, but, it still relates to today, just about what's going on in the world and how people feel, despair and hopelessness sometimes. But, I put "Go My Way" as kind of countering that and, seeing the positive in life and rising above challenges and obstacles. So
You got a lot of that in you, don't you?
Yeah.
You're a warrior, man.
Yeah.
I like that about you,
Yeah.
man. See, like me, like I make jokes about it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm at the point. Well, I'm a lot. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm like almost twice your age, and I'm what these eyes have seen. But it's like I kind of like look at the humor in it, because like I say, for me to focus on it, I know it's there.
Yeah.
And I know that some people don't have it as good as others. There's problems in life and stuff. But we got to look at it from from a positive, like you do. You got to look at it from a positive perspective, man. And when you write a song about it like that, that's what you're kind of doing.
Exactly.
You're giving
kind of bring that to people, and
you're sending a message. This is you don't have to be down about it, man. It's there. Let's live through this together, man, which is a wonderful,
people
wonderful
resonate
thing.
with that, and they, it's a feel-good song, and it uplifts them as well. So.
And how can people, that watch this program, this Bring It On rock and roll program we got here, how can they access this video if they want to see it?
Well, you can go to my website, jordanokren.com, which should be listed on the TV, and go to my YouTube channel. YouTube/Okren1, or it's listed on my website and all that. And I'm actually going to be re-releasing that very soon. So it might be down for a bit, but it'll be back up. And it'll be re-released. I'm using like a publicity group, so
okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that out on a bigger level, and have people see that. So
okay, so we're gonna run this video clip and check out Jordan Okren's "Going My Way" video.
Some talk of destruction, and some talk of no faith. Mom's always screaming out, saying there was just no way to get out of the mess we're in, to see and live prosperity. I don't care what's going wrong, I'm gonna live free. Even though the whole world's gone crazy, something's gonna go my way. They may say it don't seem so amazing, but something's gonna go my way. Something's gonna go my way. Too many pessimist attitudes, so many powerless souls. Society in no predicament, a self-fulfilling rabbit hole. And when it all seems to be breaking down, there's still a gleaming sense of hope. Feel the warmth of possibility in a darker, darker world. Even though the whole world's gone crazy, something's gonna go my way. They may say it all seems so amazing, but something's gonna go my way. Something's gonna go my way, yeah. So amazing, but something's gonna go my way, yeah. Even though the whole world's gone crazy, something's gonna go my way. They may say it don't seem so amazing, but something's gonna go my way. Something's gonna go my way.
That was great, Jordan. It was so great to see you, man. Don't
Pleasure.
forget to go to jordanokren.com and get his stuff. And we'll see you next time on the next segment of Bring It On.
peace.
Yeah.